Welcome back to MDL Crochet. This week's stitch tutorial is the Tunisian knot. To not be confused with the Afghan knot. The Tunisian knot is worked up differently than the Afghan knot. As you can see, this is the Tunisian knot. It is a totally different fabric than the Afghan knot, which is this one right here. The Afghan knot is a more closed-in fabric, whereas the Tunisian knot is a more airier fabric. And they are both worked up differently. One's worked up on the forward pass, the other one is worked up on the return pass. So, well, to make that Tunisian knot, let's get into it. Alright, so this stitch needs to be worked up in multiples of odd numbers. So I already did my chain of 19 and did my foundation row. So how we're going to start this stitch. This stitch starts like any other Tunisian simple stitch. Make sure your edge is nice and smooth and just pull up a simple stitch, right? But this is where it changes. So you'll yarn over twice, go into the next stitch, pull it up. So now you have 3 on your hook. 1, 2, and 3. So what are we going to do here is you're going to yarn over and go through all 3. That last stitch is going to be a little bit hard to get through, but if you just hold it just right, you can get through it. And now you just tighten it down. And then another simple stitch in the very next loop. And then yarn over twice. Go into the very next stitch. Pull up your loop. Take your 3, yarn over, and cast them off. So you're casting off 3. Sometimes you're going to have to use your fingers because of the way this stitch is worked. Again, next stitch, simple stitch, and then yarn over twice. Pull up your loop. You got your 3. Yarn over and pull through all 3. And you can either use your thumb to catch it so you can pull through, or take your finger and just flip it over like you would in a bamboo stitch and just pull it a little tight. That's how you're creating your knot effect. And this stitch is also a little bit of a yarn eater, which is, you know what? That's fine. So we pulled up our simple stitch. Yarn over twice. Go into the next stitch. Pull up a loop. Yarn over, and you're going to go through all 3. And then just tighten it up a little bit. Simple stitch. Yarn over twice. Go into the next loop. Pull up your simple stitch. And then yarn over and release all 3. 1, 2. And then we got this third one. It is a little tricky just because it hugs to the needle. If you pinch it just enough, you can get it off. And then just tighten it down a little bit. Simple stitch. And then yarn over twice. Go to the very next stitch. Pull up your loop. Yarn over and go through 3. And it is a slow building stitch just because of that, going through the yarn over and 3 and that very last one of the yarn over, which is the very first one you actually yarn over. It's this one. That one is a little tricky to get to just because of the nature of the yarn over. And even if you make it a little loose, it still makes it hard to get through. So you have to just work it just right to do it. And once you get it done, tighten it up a little bit so that way you create your knot effect. And then next, and then yarn over twice, and then go through, and then pull up a loop, and then yarn over and go through 3, and then tighten it up. And then the last 2 stitches you have. So you'll do a normal simple stitch and then your normal end closure. That's why you need to have an odd number, is so that way when you're doing this, you do not end with one of these bulky knots at the here, because then it'll start messing up your edge. So it's a normal return pass. So chain 1 and then yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2 all the way down to the end until you have just 1 loop left on your hook. Alright, pulling through the last stitch now. And you repeat the exact same process. It is a 1 row repeat. So pull up your loop as you normally would. And then you're going to yarn over twice, 1 and 2. And obviously it tells you exactly where to go. Then yarn over and then pull through 3. And I haven't done this in a while, but once you get back into the swing of it and get into a swing and a pattern, you're going to figure out a good way for you to get that last loop off of there. Because I could tell you all these different ways, but you'll never know until you try it. And it is a looser of a stitch just because of what you're doing with all this yarn over. And you can tighten it up as much as you want to tighten it up. You just got to be careful that you don't make it too tight to where you're not able to get your return pass in. 1 and 2. Pull up a loop and then yarn over and pull through 3. Pull through 3, there we go. Tighten it up a little bit. Another simple stitch. And then 1, 2. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 3. And you'll have to use your thumbs at times and whatnot. And then 1, 2. Pull up a loop, yarn over and go through 3. Pull up just a normal simple stitch, yarn over twice, go through, pull up a loop, yarn over and go through 3. Simple stitch, 1, 2. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 3. Okay, so we just finished that one. So yarn over twice, 1, 2. Pull up your loop, yarn over and pull through 3, 1 and 2. Then we have 1 more to go through, and then pull tight, and then a normal simple stitch, and your normal end closure. And a standard return pass. So chain 1, and then yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, all the way down to the end. Alright, we're pulling up the last ones now. So as you can see, that is how you do the Tunisian knot stitch. I'm going to do a few more rows off camera, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about this stitch. I'll be back in just a moment. Alright, so this is the stitch, and you can see how it's got the knot aspect. Now we're going to show you how to do the close off. The close off for this stitch is very simple. It's the Tunisian simple stitch close off. So you'll pull up like you're doing a simple stitch and then just cast it off. Keep that one loop on your hook. And you'll do that all the way down to the end. And we're down to the last stitch now, and you'll just do the normal row end closure stitch. Just go through the side, pull up a loop, and you'll just cast that loop off so you can have the knot, the Tunisian knot stitch closed off, and that's how you would close it off. Now I'm going to go ahead and snip the yarn and pull it through, tighten it up. But that, my friends, is the Tunisian knot stitch. It has a lot of give vertically, and it has a lot of give horizontally as well. And it's a great stitch. It's one of those stitches that you could use for a lot of projects. But as always, folks, remember, if you can give me a like and subscribe, it'd be greatly appreciated. And leave me a comment. I will chit chat with you. And as always, keep stitching.